Well, it was just a weird time just to casually drop some very key, important info for the next Battlefield title, but they did. It was like about 2 weeks ago or whatever it was since, when I'm recording this. It's been, out for a minute, but finally just like sat down and was like, let's talk about some stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna go over more about, rather than just more about what the game should be like, what features should be brought back and all that, and go over the other battlefields and what they should bring from those and things they can leave out. But yeah, so let's get into it. First, let's go over what they've already confirmed. So, already confirmed is modern day. They consider Battlefield 3 and 4 peak Battlefield, this era. And thankfully, that's what they consider peak Battlefield. And they know that this is the true, height of Battlefield. Despite what people think, of Battlefield 1. But we know 3 and 4 is peak Battlefield. Another confirmation is no specialists, to no surprise. I'd be very surprised if they decided to put specialists in this game, because everyone knows this was one of the most hated things about 2042. But yeah, no specialists, OG classes return, but we're going to dive into that later. Probably the most important, well, I won't say that, but one of the most important things they confirmed is 64-player only maps and modes. At least normal multiplayer-wise. Very important. The guy even tried to, like, oh, well, it's good they tried, which I guess it is, you gotta test it out, whatever, but yeah, that was a huge miss with the 128 players. They did not know how to make maps for that many people, but they know 64 players, keep it nice and, simple with controlling the map design and not making big empty wastelands that offer nothing in gameplay. Yeah, we get it. Very good thing they got off rip with one of the, big three of the things they've revealed already. Alright, everything else is up in the air of how the game's even going to work, what they mean by normal classes are going to return, because that's not necessarily a very clear point, thing. I mean, we have an idea of, like, oh, engineer and, recon, stuff like that, but, support and assault and all this has changed over the Battlefield games, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to balance everything, and let's just go into what I think and want for the next one. Basically, I just want Battlefield 4 type classes. A big miss to me was with 2042 is support is now support with also medic or assault for Battlefield 4. Assault in Battlefield 4 is medic. Engineer is the engineer, obviously. Then support was ammo guy, LMG dude, and you had recon. In 2042, they had assault, which was just a weird basic class, more akin to assault in Battlefield 1, and then support being combined in one class of either medic or ammo guy, and then you have your engineer and recon. Totally messed up the whole, class dynamic, in my opinion. You need a dedicated medic, you need a dedicated support man. Engineer was already pretty much assault to me in how Battlefield 1 and 2042 do assault. I don't understand the point of assault in 2042 and Battlefield 1, but yeah. Either way, just not a fan of how they've been doing it lately, in the more recent titles. Battlefield 5, I think, was okay. My main gripe with Battlefield 5 was making medics mainly or only could use SMGs, or that was like their main class weapon. Not a fan of that. Being a medic is my main class behind snipers, or sniper being next. Not a fan of using SMGs in Battlefield. Battlefield 5 was okay because they weren't that big of maps, even though there were some ginormous ones, but still. I like my ARs, I like having that, range, and not having to force myself to do close quarters, which I do kind of think it does help, enforce being a medic, because you have to be close to everything, and close to teammates, blah, blah, blah. Still prefer my ARs and, stuff like that. Now, this is all, it all really depends on how they're going to balance everything, because it seems like ever since Battlefield 4, classes have been heavily, staggered to have a specific weapon type. You know, with Battlefield 4, as most of you probably already know, there's the universal gun classes, and you can pick, at least in Battlefield 4, a DMR, a carbine, or a shotgun on any class. I honestly really like this feature just because of the simple fact of, say, if someone wants to be recon, they want a spawn beacon, they want a tugs, or the motion sensor grenades, whatever other equipment, and they're not really good at sniping, I'd rather have them have a carbine and push in, you know, and cap objectives and be productive than having to use a sniper and them not be good. Either way, I'm not, you know, I do appreciate, you know, having, you know, the specific classes, or weapon classes, I should say, per class and all that, but to me, of course, I get a message. But to me, universal weapon classes just make the game more fun and just let you experiment more, especially just customizing and making, you know, builds, or, you know, just experimenting. And to me, that's way more interesting than forcing classes to use a certain weapon type. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on that. Either way, I wouldn't be mad either way, you know. I don't know. I'm fine with the universal classes like that. Maybe sub in carbines to engineers and make SMGs universal. I think that'd be the best balance, because then you'll have DMR still for range. Then you got shotguns, SMGs universal. I don't know exactly. It doesn't really matter. We're just gonna see how they work it. Either way, as a medic, let me use a frickin' AR. Now, I'd like to make the classes feel even more unique. So, like, I would say, I'm trying to think of other things for classes, but a big thing I would want for recon is they are the only class to be able to 3D spot people. I'd make it pretty much to where it is on Battlefield 3 or in 4. 5 you can't 3D spot, and 1 you can. 2042 you can, I believe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Point is, I only want recon to be able to 3D spot and have it just, you know, work how I think it does in this game, where if they're going through smoke, it disappears, and yeah. But only recon can do it. Now, the other classes, I can't really think of anything that would be like a good feature to only be with that class to help strengthen it. Maybe just give that to recon, because it's arguably the weakest class in terms of just overall effectiveness. And that would be a nice little bonus, you know, to recon, to give it, you know, more of an edge, or whatever you want to say. Now, let's talk about actual features that, you know, are different from each, you know, Battlefield and stuff, and things that I want brought from older games to this one, and just quickly just go over and run through these that I would like to see. Hopefully they'll be in here, and some of these better be in the fucking game. Biggest one missing from 2042 was just destruction in general. You have these natural disasters, you know, I showed the clip earlier in the thing, but, you know, cool things like that, like big scale things. Levolution is what, you know, the big marketing thing, but I would love to, you know, to actually have Battlefield back, or destruction back in my Battlefield game. Battlefield 1, it was beautiful, just the way everything was free flowing, and Battlefield 4 was way more scripted. I wouldn't mind a mix of both, you know, with the big scale stuff to be obviously more scripted, because, I mean, by all means, if you can take a skyscraper to make it crumble like how buildings did in Battlefield 1, by all means, I'm here for it, but, you know, limitations, whatever. It is next gen only, or at least I'd fucking hope so. Either way, yeah. We just need fucking destruction back in the game. Really, the only thing I want from 2042 is the plus system. This was easily the best thing they've done in 2042, in my opinion. I personally use it a lot. I really love how, you know, it is just to be able to swap things on the fly. I have the, you know, base AR in the game right here, and I have a build for each scenario. Put the heavy rounds in with a 6x scope for long range shots. I got the close quarters mag with a shortened barrel for close engagements, and you got the middle ground, you know. I personally really liked the feature. I used it all the time, well, for the most part. For, you know, not in this much depth, I would say, with this gun. You know, I did it with this gun, but other things would be like, you know, putting on suppressor, taking off, and switching, you know, range, you know, optics and all that. But still, I like the feature. Wouldn't mind seeing it back. I wouldn't cry if it wasn't in the game. You know, it is what it is. It's fine. But I wouldn't mind having it back. I would you know, I'd rather enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? I know. Don't make fun of me too much, but I wouldn't mind fortifications back. Yeah, I know. Laugh your fucking ass off. No, but in all seriousness, I think it would be kind of cool to see a modern, you know, era version of fortifications, you know, make you know, even go back to having specific abilities, like engineer makes really good structures. I don't know. Either way, I didn't mind fortifications. I rarely used it. Yeah, sure, but still, wouldn't mind that. Second thing is, as you saw, my little crawling around. It's just a nice feature, but more importantly, being able to crouch run, just a cool little, you know, mechanic just to get cover and still be able to, you know, move relatively quickly. But the other thing I really want in Battlefield, the next one from Battlefield 5, is leaning. I don't even know if most people even know about this on console, but as your ADS, you can lean left or right with using the right analog, just whichever direction. You can see the little icon dude. You can see him, you know, whichever way you're leaning, he'll show you. But yeah, I think that'd be just such a great thing just to have. Like, I'm using it now, you know, hiding behind the rock, sniping at the dude, and I can peek and just get this total great advantage on him. Yeah, and yeah, just really wouldn't mind that, you know, pushing hallways, being able to lean, just totally have that control again, you know, of how you want to expose yourself behind cover or not. But yeah, that's about it with Battlefield 5's features. Yeah, that's pretty much it from, like, you know, features I want from the older Battlefield games brought to this one. Battlefield 1, really the only thing I can think of that I wouldn't mind is the horses. That'd be pretty dope in my opinion to, you know, have some modern day combat, but you see a dude with an RPG riding a horse and maybe even a homie on back with you. Like, that'd be pretty raw. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. But other than that, I can't really think of anything other than maybe bayonet charges, but I don't know. But any other things, like gameplay wise, I definitely want melee takedowns to go back to fucking normal and not copy Warzone and Call of Duty. Why did we go from beautiful, flawless first person, holy shit, first person animations to some dog shit fucking third person choppy bullshit that's worse than Modern Warfare's. Modern Warfare does the third person shit way better than Battlefield 2042 did. Just a corny ass decision. Either way, yeah, bring back first person fucking melee takedowns. Never do third person ever again. Please, for the love of God, don't. Also, I would give you guys bonus points if you know, have us take the dog tags with the takedown animation like we do in 3 and 4. While I did really appreciate the brutality of Battlefield 1's of just, dude, some of those are just so great, but still, have some dope, you know, you can do some dope ones with, you know, how we do it in Battlefield 3 and 4. Either way, I wouldn't be mad if we went back and had, you know, multiple melee weapons and at least it's in first person. I'll be happy, but I'd prefer having some cool, you know, I'm actually taking your tag, you know. But either way, fucking first person at the very least. Alright, now let's talk about probably the most important thing, which is just the overall gameplay balance. That's something like I always go back to, or like trying to think of, like what Battlefield does what best. Now I think Battlefield 3 is still my favorite Battlefield overall, but I think Battlefield 4, yeah, it has more content and, you know, all these guns, blah, blah, blah. But one thing Battlefield does, or Battlefield 4 specifically, I should say, does the best, I feel like, is balancing. Obviously, this took years for them to do because of all the problems they had at launch and just how things worked, but Battlefield 4's balancing is the best balanced Battlefield, I think, of all Battlefields. I didn't play 3 enough to at least enough like conquest and stuff. I've mainly played TDM. I know, laugh, 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 ha ha, because I was a Call of Duty kid. Battlefield 3 was my first Battlefield, blah, blah, blah. Point is, Battlefield 4 has the best balancing with not only just weapons, you know, ARs, LMGs, all that, everything feels the best balance, but also infantry to vehicle balance is so perfect in this game. If you are good enough to, as an engineer, you can 1v1 a tank by just movement and knowing what is and isn't destructible, and you have enough supply on your person to battle a tank on your own. Now the tank, if they have any brain and have any upgrades, which they most likely do nowadays, but you can easily, you know, destroy one infantry. But I have done a lot against tanks on my own as an engineer in this game. You can't do that in any Battlefield after 4. Battlefield 1, vehicle balance to infantry was very heavy, one-sided, which made sense, you know? And obviously, if you're working as a squad, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not arguing that. But I just feel like with this game, and 3 even had good balance too, I feel like, from what I remember, mainly for the main thing of, you had shit to use. Battlefield 2042, I think you hold at most 3 C4. You have that on here as well, but I think, honestly, I think it's actually only 2 in 2042. But let's give them the grace that they do give you 3. That's still not enough. All 3, I've used it, done it multiple times. All 3 C4 on a vehicle, or tank I should say, and Battlefield 2042 still does not destroy the tank. That is asinine, dude. So you're telling me my entire inventory doesn't destroy a tank? That's not a problem in this game. And actually, in this game, you know, the good old Jeep stuff and throwing it on dirt bikes and Jeeps and jumping off and blowing them up, that fun greatness they tried to say that you can do in 2042, which I never tried, honestly, in 2042. I just try to, you know, I slap 3 of them on there, hit the fucking detonator, and they don't die. What are you gonna do? Either way, balance of, you know, and like rockets, and it's so well done in 2040, or no, not 2042. It's so well done in Battlefield 4. You have like 7 rockets on your person as an engineer, maybe with your little specialty upgrade. I don't think so though. I think that's base. You have 7 rockets. Battlefield 2042, if you use the RPG, which is the best one or most damaging, you have 2. That's not enough to kill a tank. Full health tank, you can't take one out. That is ridiculous, dude. Now I get it, you know, 128 players, sure. I don't know. Balance it to where that doesn't matter. I don't know. There's no reason to limit the supply like that. It is so shit. Either way, please just take Battlefield 4's balance. It is easily the best of the Battlefield series. You know, 3 could be pretty fucking close too. Like I said, didn't play enough actual conquest / rust or rush to, you know, really get a feel of it. But either way, yeah, we know what I'm saying now. Now, the final most important thing, in my opinion, that needs to be in, you know, the next game is how movement is. Battlefield 2042's movement is Call of Duty movement. It is the fastest Battlefield, and it's not good. That's not a good thing. I love the movement. Going from 2042 to this, you get used to it instantly. Yeah, I put a lot of hours in the older games, but I played majority of my Battlefield time was 2042, and it wasn't much, but that's where most of my time has been. So I was used to the super speed, Call of Duty tac sprint, sliding, jumping shit. And I went back to Battlefield 4, and it's like nothing, you know, you get used to it very quickly. That, to me, is the most important thing they need to do. I wouldn't mind a dolphin dive, more like this one though, and the diving in Battlefield 4, where it's just mainly just fucking dick in the dirt, get down, rather than jumping and diving like Max Payne. Honestly, I wouldn't cry if I could dive like you can in Black Ops 6, but still, would prefer just get down. Now, I do not want sliding. I honestly don't want sliding. I won't be mad if it's in it, which it most likely will be because every modern FPS needs a sliding mechanic. I wouldn't mind, you know, I don't know. Just don't give me the fucking super sprint, jumping, sliding Call of Duty bullshit. And we're all fucking good over here. But yeah, that's about it.